Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Drive-Thru. I'm your host, Tony T, as we broadcast live here on Pink Dog's YouTube channel and throughout social media. We'll get you out here well before the top of the hour. I want to give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games, and that's what we do here on the Drive-Thru. Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time is deliver live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later, and deliver those winners of professional handicappers over at Pink Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who'll be on the show for today. All right, we got Chris Ruffolo, service co-host, Sean Murphy. We've got Ninos. So we're going to try and get Tony Brown in. We're trying to get his connection together here. We got Mitch, you on the upper right corner. There we go. Big Al McMordie and James Clark. This is how they're going to line up here for today. We've got Clark, McMordie, Brown, Murphy, Ruffolo, Mitch, and then I will close this one out. All right, Chris, we're on to game 2 of the World Series.
Oh, man, what a start to the series. A lot of people maybe wrote the Braves off, but they are there to say that they're just going to be right there alongside the Astros. Don't count them out because they have just as good a shot as Houston does. So I think it's going to be a fantastic series the rest of the way.
Yeah, they're up no McCullers and no Morton. How do you see this going down the line here late in the series?
You know what? We said it was going to come down to the bullpens and starting pitching. And I think that Houston lost their best starter. Atlanta, they still have Max Fried, and they still got an experienced lineup. So it's going to be interesting to see for sure, but I still give the edge to Atlanta just slightly, though.
All right, let's get on here with the drive-through. Big game coverage right off the bat here. Let's bring him in. James Clark, you'll find him over at Pick.com. We've done great work in the NBA. James, what's going on?
Not much, guys. How y'all tonight?
It's going great, going great. All right, here we go. 7:30 Eastern Time. One of the featured games tonight. Nets to host the Heat here. Nets 3.5, total 218.
Guys, if if you look at this game, you probably would think the Nets would win this game. If you look at last season, and that's what we got to go by a lot right now. It's early in the season. The Nets in their conference at home, they was 28-8 at home. But you look at this Heat team. This is a different Heat team than what we have last year. We got P.J. Tucker. You seen what Tucker done against Durant? Nobody can stop Durant, but you can frustrate him, and that's what P.J. Tucker does. This Heat team, got Kyle Lowry, and got some new pieces. We seen what they done against the Bucks a few nights ago. They blew the Bucks out, and I don't look for them to blow the Nets out, but I do look for them to beat them tonight. And I like Miami tonight on the money line, plus 140. Like I say, and even going by last year. Miami's bench averaged 34.5 points a game, and I think their bench does it again this year. You got Tyler Hero coming in off the bench. We know what he can do, shoot the three, and you know how he can score. But I really like the Heat tonight and us getting this plus money.
All right, we got James Clark here. Going with the Heat, and of course the pick is the Heat on the money line plus 140 against the Brooklyn Nets. All right, Chris, we talked about Heat in their opener against Milwaukee. We saw what they've done here, but looking at the efficiency ratings, number one this young season after 3 games, allowing just 92 points per 100 possessions.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that and the Heat's success as a whole, and like James said, they're looking like the Heat team that made the finals a couple seasons ago is the addition of Kyle Lowry. It gives the Heat a true point guard that they may not have had last year. And as much as I like Goran Dragic, it's just it was what the Heat needed. And you have that floor general taking a little bit of pressure off of Jimmy Butler from decision-making standpoint. But yeah, Tony, like you said, the Heat's defense has just been on point. And I was surprised that we were even getting 3.5 points with them when the line was released.
Yeah, and look at James looking at the Brooklyn Nets shooting. Now we look at the efficiency numbers, just 103 points per 100 possessions after 4 games, 21st in the league there in offensive efficiency.
Yeah, the Nets has come out struggling this year shooting the ball. You don't have Harden, knocking down the big threes. You don't have Durant scoring real high. 25. Harden's getting around about 19. Durant's getting around about 25. Last year, Durant was at high 30s, 32 points a game, and then the Harden, he was at 26. So both of these has come out struggling, and it's hurt the Nets to start off the season.
All right, James Clark here, Heat money line plus 140 against Brooklyn Nets. This one has a start time of 7:30 Eastern Time. All right, James, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Premium tonight. Well, we've got a nice board tonight from the NBA. 10 games from the NBA. We have 5 NHL, and of course, Game 2 of the World Series. You're looking good here over at Pick Dogs Premium. 676 units of profit past 30 days. That is all documented. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
I got a 5-pack going on, guys. 4 NBA plays and 1 MLB play that I really like. Or I got a 3-pack, just the NBA plays if you just want the NBA. Guys, after we go 5-0, or if you get the 3-pack, we go 3-0. Upgrade to that 3, 7, and 30 today, guys. That's where it's at right now with all these sports overlapping and going on. And if you go to the site and look, number 1 in college football, tied for number 3 in NBA, and the top 10 in the NFL. So go check the long-term passes out, or try me out for 3 days or a week, or I say it every time I'm on the show. We got the best scappers in the world, and we do. Team me up with one of them and try us out for 3 days or a week. And, guys, we'll put some money in your pockets.
Yep, get on board here with James Clark over at Pick Dogs Premium, showing profit here from yesterday, the past 7 days, the past 30 days. Did great work in the NBA last year. So a good time here to get on board with James Clark over at Pick Dogs Premium. Matter of fact, showing good numbers here, good results this year in the NBA, in NFL, in college football. He's doing great work here across the board. So a good time to get on board with James. He has his 5-pack tonight, NBA and MLB money stack, 4 NBA, 1 MLB. A great deal here. Coming off another winning day yesterday. Only $50 for James's 5-pack right now over at Pick Dogs Premium. Of course, you can take those winnings, go long-term with James. Now, early in the week, we always talk about that 7-day all sports pass. Pretty great, really great value right now. You'll get all of James's plays. We're talking about Week 9 college football, Week 8 NFL, NBA. We're talking about MLB, and a good time to get on board here with James Clark as he's doing great work across the board here in all sports. All the sports are overlapping. That long-term pass, great value there. All right, James, as always, great having you on the show. Continue that success, and we'll talk with you tomorrow.
All right, Johnny. I always appreciate you having me on the show, buddy, and let's cash some tickets, and good luck, everybody, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow. All right, let's continue on here on the drive. It's James Clark, joined here with Chris Ruffolo. Now it's time to bring on board here Big Al McMordie. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium, where he sits number 1 year to date, doing fantastic work. Let's bring in Al right now. Al, how's it going?
Pretty good, Tony. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great. We got a little rain over the beginning of the week, so feel good. Tonight we got a great one out west here. Suns to host the Kings at 10 Eastern time. Phoenix laying 8, total 224.5.
Yeah, Phoenix comes into this ball game off a blowout loss at the hands of the Portland Trail Blazers. They lost that ball game 134 to 105, and that was Phoenix's second double-digit loss of their first 3 games. But it's really not that surprising. Indeed, if you take a look at how the 8 quarterfinalists did from last season's playoffs, there's been a lot of uneven, choppy play among that group. You saw Milwaukee lose by 42 points at Miami. The Brooklyn Nets lost by 23 at Milwaukee, and then they just lost by 16 to Charlotte. The Philadelphia 76ers lost last night to the New York Knicks by 13. So this is kind of what happens early in the season in the NBA, and you really can't get all too worked up about it. If Phoenix gets off to this slow start, they're still a very good team. And then when you take a look at how these top-level teams have done so far this season, off wins and off losses, those 8 quarterfinalists from last season, when they're off a loss so far this season, they're 7-2 against the spread, including 6-1 ATS if they failed to cover their previous game by 10 or more points. Conversely, if those teams are off a win, they're 3-8 against the spread their next game, including 0-5 against the spread if they covered their previous game by 10 or more points. So I think this is a really good situation for the Phoenix Suns to bounce back off that 29-point loss to Portland. You also take a look at the fact that Phoenix is 27-14 ATS, their last 41 at home. Sacramento, for its part, 7-17 its last 24 off back-to-back losses. So I'm going to lay the 8 points with Phoenix in this game. It also falls into a really good system of mine. That's kind of like a bounce-back system. That system's 86-39 ATS. Its last 125, so I'm going to lay the points with Phoenix.
All right, Big Al's going to lay the points. Phoenix Suns -8 against Sacramento. All right, Chris, one thing with Sacramento, the threes aren't falling very well this season. I think they're about 32% from beyond the arc.
Yeah, not what you would expect for a team with Buddy Hield, who we all know has been really good at shooting the 3 since coming into the league. De'Aaron Fox But that's just the perils of the Sacramento Kings has been, and it probably will be for the next little bit as well. So I think Phoenix does bounce back here, though. This is a team with a bit of a, I don't want to say a chip on their shoulder, but they're a little bit frustrated with how the last game has gone against Portland. I think they want to take out some frustration on the Kings, so I see them winning this one by double digits.
Yeah, the Kings' offense not producing this year's lower half here in offense. Just a net rating of negative 6.2. Al here on Suns -8 against Sacramento. This one here has a start time 10 Eastern time. All right, now let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium tonight. We have 10 games on the board from the NBA. We've got 5 NHL. Of course, that baseball game too between the Braves and Astros. You're doing great work over at Pick Dogs Premium for 2021. 3,769 units of profit. What do you have going on over the site?
Well, we swept the board again yesterday, cashing our NHL game of the month on the Minnesota Wild. We also cashed in the NBA yesterday with the New York Knicks. Today I've got 2 plays, one in baseball and then one in basketball. We are now 78 and 43, our last 121 releases. So you can get on board for one or both of those plays, or of course the best deal of all is to join for a week or for 30 days and to also team me up with one of the other handicappers here at Pick Dogs on the 2-for-1 handicapper special.
That's right. 2-for-1 handicapper special. Great value over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see Al's numbers here: 3,769 units of profit documented in 2021. If you go to Al's profile page over at Pick Dogs Premium, you can check out all the plays. They're documented. They're graded immediately. And right now on the site, he's got his passes, his plays for you available tonight. He's got an NBA winner as well as that Game 2 winner, Braves and Astros. But as Al said, why not go ahead and get that long-term pass, that 7-day all sports pass will get you all of Al's plays from the NFL for Week 8, college football, Week 9. We're into NBA, the baseball playoffs, as well as NHL. All the sports are overlapping, so right now is a great time to get on board with one of those long-term passes, that 3, 7, and 30 all sports pass. You want to try them out for a week? It's probably a good way to start with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dogs Premium. Al, as always, great having you show. Continue that success, and we'll talk with you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you Thursday.
All right, Big Al McMordie here on the Drive Thru. Right here, we're joined with Chris Ruffolo. Just a reminder, guys, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Free picks every single day. Of course, it all gets started with that morning show. During the week, it gets started at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch, Rod Zawacki, Brian Bittler, and Joe Madden. And the YouTube members VIP. What a great value there for premium picks on YouTube. Follow the link below and get signed up. And of course, we always ask for your help to help us build up our audience with those likes, those thumbs up, because they really help our audience to grow.
Absolutely, Tony, it does. I always say it's the measuring stick of what we do at Pick Dogs, because at the end of the day, you guys are the ones we do this for, the Pick Dogs family. So keep those likes, those thumbs up coming in. Like Tony said, we always appreciate the love and support. Like I always say, I don't think I can really tell you guys how much it truly means to us. So keep those likes and those thumbs up coming in.
That's right. Keep them coming. All right, we're going to go ahead and go on to Skype and bring in Al Ninos. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll give Chris a little break here from the show. Al, what's going on?
I'm pretty good here. How are you?
I'm doing great. All right, tonight we got the game you'll be looking at here out west. The Trailblazers hosting the Grizzlies at 10 Eastern Time, with the Trailblazers here laying 2.5. Total sits here at 234.
Yeah. Teams that match up pretty well up and down the roster. The Blazers do have an advantage at the shooting guard position with C.J. McCollum and Dylan Brooks sitting this one out for Memphis. But it's pretty evenly matched at every other position. Definitely the point guard matchup of the night to watch, so definitely keep an eye on that matchup between John Morant and Damian Lillard. Of course, Damian Lillard didn't earn his nickname Dame Time for no reason. He is the better three-point shooter of the two, but Morant's a great point guard as well, and given enough time, I'm sure he'll hit his fair share of clutch shots as well. Not quite a Lillard yet, but I think he's definitely on his way to being one of the better point guards in the league. Normally, with lines like this, I like to look at the money line, rather than take a few points and lay some juice for them. But wouldn't be surprised at all if this one does come down the wire, last second buzzer beater that we've seen so many times. We've seen Lillard hit so many times, so. I do feel a bit safer with a couple points here. This line had gone up a little bit. Now I'm starting to see the juice come back on the 2.5 here. So I was going to suggest hoping for +3 here, but I don't think it's going to come. So I would take the 2.5 right now, actually.
All right, Al says go ahead and take the 2.5 with the Memphis Grizzlies. And, Al, I was looking at the numbers here. Memphis, a really good shooting team, number 1 in offensive efficiency, but Portland, number 1 in pace. So if you get a fast pace, I don't think that's what we're going to do against Memphis here, the way they've been playing.
No, well, that's what I'm saying. John Moran can definitely, I think, keep up with Lillard's pace, so that will be taken care of. The rest, I think they do match up pretty well. I think they can keep up with them. Steven Adams, not the fastest or most athletic center in the league, but neither is Nurkic, so I think he can get up and down the court as well. Not too bad for his size. I think that they can keep up with Portland here. All right, keep it up here. He's got to get in communication here with Tony Brown, trying to get him to sign in here. He'll sign in after you sign off, Al. All right, Memphis here. Go ahead. Yeah, I was going to say they also have a pretty good unit coming off the bench. They do have some pretty good players coming off the bench. So, whereas, I mentioned Dylan Brooks' injury, but Portland will be without Powell and Snell as well. So, missing a couple of wing players there. So, yeah, it should be a very, very, very good matchup, and I do think the points may come into play tonight.
Now, what do you think about this fact that the Portland was just pounded here by the Clippers? Some of these professional teams get embarrassed, and sometimes they do bring out a strong effort for 2 halves.
Of course, it does also make you look at the money line, even take a second glance at the money line. As you said, they do come out. They don't want to get embarrassed a second time in a row, that's for sure. I don't expect Memphis to come in here and blow them out, not at all. As I said, I think it's going to be back and forth all game long, and so it should be a pretty fun game to watch. So, and grab the points in this one.
All right, Al wants to grab the points there with Memphis plus 2.5. All right, now let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium tonight. Well, we got a nice board from the NBA. Matter of fact, we've got 10 games in the NBA, 5 from the NHL. We also have that big baseball game number 2 with the Braves and Astros. What do you have going on over at the site?
Yeah, a bit of everything again. I actually like the NHL again today, so I have a few plays in that. And then my best bet in the NBA and the NHL. So I got a little 5-pack out there if you want to check that out, or grab a long-term pass and you get all my picks. And definitely going to have a lot of them with all these sports going on right now.
Yeah, a lot of crossover sports right now. You see Al, 235 units of profit, NHL. That is all documented. So a good time to get on board with Al Ninos over at Pick Dogs Premium as he has his plays going off for tonight. He's got, he likes to call them his alphabets, but he has a 3-pack right now. His best bet from the NBA, MLB, and NHL 3-pack going on right now. Affordable price, just $30. Get on board with the Al's one-day pass tonight across the board here from 3 Sports. You can also take those winners, go long-term with Al. He's part of that 3, 7, and 30-day all-sports pass, as well as season passes. So if you'd like to get on board with one of Al's long-term passes, he'll combine NFL and college football into one season pass. Get the remainder of NFL and college football, regular season and playoffs, and bowl games for one low price when you visit Pick Dogs Premium. All right, Al, as always, great having your show. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll be in contact with you soon.
All right. I'm always waiting for the phone call or the email.
All right. Al Ninos here on the drive. So let me bring in Chris a little bit. We're trying to get Tony Brown. He'll be calling in a little bit here. Let me ask you this. What's going on over at Sports Chat and Pick Dogs? I know you got some video series going on.
Yeah, Pick Dogs, we're doing the hockey videos and soccer videos, myself and Rod, and going on with the soccer videos, and we're putting those out as often as we can. And the hockey videos going up every day. The soccer videos, we usually do them for the weekend. We're gonna have some Champions League midweek next week as well, so there's that. And Sports Chat Plays, I'm putting up content there every day. Some free parlays that have been doing well, and lots of free content. We're just gonna keep doing it bigger and better than anyone else, like we always do.
All right, we got Tony Brown wired in. I hope we can get his sound. Let's see if we can get his sound in here, because I can see his pictures, his video. Let me see if we can get him in here. Tony Brown just signed in. He's going to give us coverage from tonight's baseball game between the Astros and the Braves. So let me see if we can get him into the screen right now. We didn't do any checks with him yet, but we just want to see if we can get him into the show right now. Tony Brown, here we go. Tony, what's happening? Oh, we lost him. Looks like we lost Tony Brown here. There is some issues with Tony Brown. We'll try and get to him in a little bit, and I think we don't have him connected correctly. Tony, hang in there. There are some technical issues here with your connection, but we'll get right back to you. Let's continue on here on the show. We're going to bring in Sean Murphy. You'll find Sean over at Pick Dogs Premium, where he does fantastic work. Sean, what's going on?
Hey guys, how's it going tonight?
It's going great. It's going great. Good NBA card. We got baseball playoffs, and tonight you're going to be looking at an NBA game here at 7:30 Eastern time. It's the Pelicans hosting the Hawks. With the Hawks road favorites here, 5.5, total 219.5.
Yeah, I like the over in this game. Pelicans we have coming in off of low-scoring games, but both of those were against the T-Wolves in Minnesota. Back here at home against the Hawks, I think they know they're going to need to push the pace a little more if they want to stay competitive in this game. And this has actually been typically a pretty good spot for New Orleans, as it comes into this one averaging over 123 points per game and an average total of over 242 points when they play at home off an outright upset win over the last couple of seasons. And that's the case here after they won that game on Monday night in Minnesota as an underdog. We've also got them coming in when they lose 2 of their last 3 games. We've seen an average total of over 231 points. That's the case here tonight as well. As for the Hawks, they're coming off, arguably their best offensive performance of the season so far. They put up 122 points on 51% shooting against Detroit on Monday. And I think they'll also look to push the pace here a little bit after their first road game didn't go so well when they scored 95 points in a loss in Cleveland. So I think this one sets up well for both teams to really kind of push the tempo a little bit. Keep in mind last year the 2 meetings produced 229 and 230 points, so I think this total is going to prove to be a little light. So we'll go over the total on this one.
All right, Sean Murphy going over total Hawks and the Pelicans. All right, Chris, what say you in this one here with the Hawks in New Orleans? Of course, New Orleans did come off a win here against the Minnesota recently.
Yeah, I love the over here. I was surprised it was 219.5. I know these two teams have been, playing in lower scoring games this season, but still, these are the Pelicans that, yes, they're missing Zion. They're probably missing Josh Hart tonight, but Brandon Ingram and, Kira Lewis Jr. and Herb Jones. This is a young, talented team that likes to push the pace, and we all know what Trae Young can do when he's on. He likes to shoot and he likes to put up buckets night in and night out. So, yeah, I think this one finishes closer to 230, 235. So I love the over here.
All right, both teams sitting top half of the league here in pace this year. Hawks and Pelicans over 219.5, and this one will have a start time of 7:30 Eastern time over on NBA League Pass. All right, Sean, let's take a look over at Pick Dog Premium tonight. Well, we've got 10 games from the NBA on the board, that big baseball playoff game. We also have 5 NHL as well. You're doing fine work in the NBA this year. 590 units of profit, all documented over at Pick Dogs Premium. What do you have going on over the site?
Yeah, so off to a 7-1 start in the NBA this season. So I've got 3 NBA plays up for tonight. Hockey's off to kind of a so-so start, but we're still long-term well up on the ice in the NHL. So we've got a play in the NHL as well tonight. I'm going to pass on the baseball game tonight. We had the first 5 innings over last night as the big play, so we'll probably get back to that series a little later on. And then kicking off tomorrow, I've got my NFL Thursday night game of the month, so that's something to look forward to for tomorrow.
That's right, guys. Get on board here with Sean Murphy over at Pick Dog Premium. You see the numbers here, 590 units of profit in the NBA. That's all documented. So if you go over to Pick Dog Premium, check out Sean's profile page, you can see all the plays. They're documented and graded immediately. And he's got a lot of NBA action tonight, as well as NHL up there on the board. So get on board here with Sean Murphy. Probably the best bet here is go with one of those long-term passes. We talk about that 7-day all sports pass. You'll get all of Sean's plays. It would be NBA, of course, NFL Week 8, college football Week 9, baseball playoffs, hockey, for that one low price over at Pick Dodge Premium with that 3-day all sports pass with Sean Murphy. Of course, you can also add a second capper, make it a 2-for-1 capper promotion, even greater value there. All right, Sean, as always, great having your show. Continue that success, and we'll talk with you next week.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, Sean Murphy here on The Drive Thru. Let's continue our coverage here with Chris. I think we do have the connection corrected here, so let's go ahead and welcome in Tony Brown. We want to get that pick here from Major League Baseball. Tony, what's happening?
Can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you perfectly.
Let's get to it. What's up, fellas?
Going great, going great. All right, here we go. The game from Tony Brown tonight. We're looking at Major League Baseball as we've got the Astros hosting the Braves. The Astros laying $1.15, total of 9.
Yep, this isn't nobody's first rodeo. You guys been here before. You know what I'm going to say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was here last night. We cashed in with the under. It was one of the first unders in his whole series. You know, the Astros been raking, Braves been raking, but it stayed under 8.5, even with the horrible first inning from the Braves. Because like the old adage says, offense wins games and defense wins championships. Now with the Astros down one game and the next 3 games will be in Atlanta, this is almost a must win. You know, that's an overrated term in sports, must win, because they don't have to. It's a 7-game series. But if you go down 0-2 at home and then go to face the Braves in 3, it's pretty much over. So I think the defense will be even tighter. The pitching will be even better. And 9 runs this time. It's set at 9. We're going to buy the hooks to make it 9.5. So 10 runs to beat us will be a chore. And we're taking the under in the game tonight.
All right, Tony Brown here is going to go ahead and take the under in this one, under the total from Tony Brown in this game. All a couple things here. Urquidy gets the start. Did not have a really good start here against the Boston Red Sox. Gave up 5 earned runs and it was only pitched once since October 3rd. It's been a long layoff for Urquidy in the starting rotation.
And you know what? Like you said, he's been getting batted around or whatever, so it's going to be more of rest than rust. And I like the rest factor for this one. He hasn't pitched in a while, so he's going to come in well rested, and he's going to get the job done.
What about Houston, who happens to hit left-handers pretty well, freed on the mound here for Atlanta?
Yeah, they happened to hit left-handers pretty well until last night. Then they had that power outage with only 2 runs. And so tonight I think they'll be more focused on keeping the Braves at bat. You know what I mean? They had the monster first inning. They had a 6-run game. I think they want to keep the Braves at bay, and they'll just put up a couple runs to get the wins themselves.
All right, Tony Brown here on Astros Atlanta under total of 8.5. For the show, he does recommend buying that half to get to 9. And, of course, that game will have a start time of 8 Eastern time over on Fox. All right, Tony, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs Premium tonight. Well, we've got 10 games from the NBA. We got 5 NHL and that baseball game. What do you have going on over at the site?
Yeah, I have a huge card tonight. One of my biggest cards. It's definitely the biggest card this week and probably one of my biggest cards of this year. I got 7 games. I have all 5 NHL games tonight. You know, NHL is my thing. It was a short slate of games. We have 5 of them, and we're all over it. We have all 5 of the NHL games tonight. We have the MLB World Series pick. I gave you the free pick on the total. I have the pick on the game. And I have my NBA top play. It was a full slate of games in the NBA. 10 games tonight in the NBA alone, but we're only playing 1. My top play of the NBA, the biggest bet we're making in pro basketball, and I got that all included with a 7-pick pass, or you can get those games individually, the hockey games, whatever you want to do, man. Let's cash big tonight.
Yeah, it's Cash Big tonight here with Tony Brown over at Pick Dogs Premium. He's got a lot of action going on. 5 plays up on the board here on a 5-pack on the ice tonight. So he's all over it. He also has an MLB Laser Lock, NBA Perfect Play. 7 picks for you right now from Tony Brown over at Pick Dogs Premium. Probably the best thing to do is maybe get that 3-day All Sports Pass, get all those plays tonight, and for the next couple of days, ensure your NBA, NHL, as well as baseball action. Of course, that Thursday night football game gets kicked off tomorrow. We got Thursday night college football, Friday night as well. Then after the weekend, you can reassess everything, go longer term with Tony Brown, maybe get that 3rd-day All Sports Pass, go all 30 days with Tony Brown. Every play he releases over at Pick Dogs period, or that time period. You select when you go over to his profile page and you make that purchase. All right, Tony, as always, great having your show. Continue, have yourself a great night, and we'll be with you tomorrow.
Let's make it 3 in a row, man. Let's cash this one tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another free pick.
All right, Tony Brown here on the drive-thru. All right, let's continue our coverage here, joined by Chris. And it looks like it's Chris's turn now, front and center, as he'll be looking at an NBA game tonight. Does it have a familiar ring to it? I think it does. Yes, it does. All right, so let's go ahead and get Chris on the board here. There's a team that's near and dear to his heart, although I don't think they're giving him the love back. We've got the game tonight here between the Raptors hosting the Pacers here with Toronto laying a point, total 215.
Tony, I promise sooner or later I will lay off of the Raptors. But until then, I mean, you got to kind of go where the money takes us. And tonight, I think it's taking us to the Indiana Pacers. You know, as much as I like the Toronto Raptors, as much as they're my hometown team, the bottom line is I think letting Kyle Lowry walk in the offseason, letting him go was a mistake. I mean, realistically, I like Fred VanVleet. He loves this city, but right now it's looking like an inexperienced team. And to leaving Nick Nurse scratching his head what to do. I mean, they're playing great defense, only allowing 98.8 points per game, but they don't have a choice because they're 27th in the league in scoring, 100.3 points per game, and they're bottom 5 in the league in offensive efficiency, 99.3 points per 100 possessions. And as much as, you know, the Indiana Pacers have had to deal with their issues this year, the only they're 1-3, but they've had a couple of 1-point losses to start the year, as well as that overtime win over Miami, a really good Miami team, before falling in their last outing in overtime as well. And, I just look at it side by side, and I like Malcolm Brogdon, Miles Turner, Domantas Sabonis, and everyone in that lineup, regardless of injuries. I'm trying to check the injury report here, but I don't see Sabonis on it.
It's not Sabonis.
Yeah.
No, you're out with Leverts and Warren out.
Yeah, and so that just tells me that, we're getting the better lineup here. We're getting a free point with the better lineup, and, as much as I love my hometown team, I got to be on the Pacers in this one. I just don't think the Raptors have the pace to keep up with Indiana in this one. I think the team that controls the pace dictates who wins this game, and I do think it's Indiana tonight.
All right, Chris is going to look here at the Indiana Pacers here, take the +1 against the Toronto Raptors, and you think at some point they're going to get a win at home. But, I think Indiana's a team that struggled to play defense on the road this year, giving up over 47% shooting. I know Toronto's having a tough time hitting baskets. They're defending. Believe it or not, they have a positive rating. I could not believe that when I looked at that. That's probably been one game that just kind of skewed everything off the chart here. But you got Indiana with a negative rating.
Yeah, and I think
it was that Boston. It was that Boston game that skews the range a little bit, because they beat Boston 115-83. So that will definitely skew the ratings. After 4
exactly.
Games.
And that was the game. What was it? Jason Tatum shot 7 of 30 from the floor. How many times has he done that in his career? Not often. So a poor shooting night. I think it is going to skew the numbers, like you said, Tony. And just over the course of the 4 games so far for each side, I just liked what I've seen more from Indiana, even with a negative net rating, than what I've seen from the Raptors, who had that, like you said, that one good game against Boston. On the other 3, they've been in close but no cigar. And when you're being asked to lay a point with a team like that, I know we're all high on defense and we love teams that play defense, but last time I checked, to win a basketball game, you got to score more than the other team. And if Indiana's a team that can put up more points, well, in a pick-em game, they're going to be my pick every single time.
Yeah, and they come in with a good shooting night. I don't believe Toronto has the weapons here to keep up with them. So that's the key there. Is maybe Toronto is they're just not shooting the ball effectively. Chris on Indiana +1 against Toronto. That's his team. He's going against the Raptors. So keep an eye on this one. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dog Stream tonight. 10 games on the NBA board. We love the Wednesdays. We love the Friday cards in the NBA because they're always the bigger cards. 401 units of profit in college football, all documented. 10-game card from the NBA, 5 from the NHL, that big baseball playoff game, World Series Game 2. What do you have going on over the site?
Well, it's my favorite day of the week, Whale Bet Wednesday. I got a couple of 3-packs up there, one from the NHL, one from the NBA. Each of those $30. And those are some of my biggest plays of the week. And, those plays I absolutely love. We're off to a nice start in the NBA. We're doing well in the NHL. So make sure you guys go check those out. But also, we always preach it, and for good reason. Check those long-term packages out, whether it's 3 days, 7 days, a month, or a year. Those are some of your best value, because now all the sports are trying to bleed together. This is the busy time of year. This is when you're going to get the most bang for your buck with those packages. Another week, in a couple weeks now, we've got the college basketball season upon us. It's just going to get even bigger and better. So definitely go check those out long term, whether it's just me or with another capper on the website. Or we got the season passes as well. We're going to have the NCAA pass up very, very soon. And I got to tell you guys, the Puck Dogs package, we're still top 5 in the NHL this season. Got a 3-pack up there as well. So definitely go check all those options out for you guys over at Pick Dogs Premium.
That's right, guys. Get on board here with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see the numbers here. 401 units of profit in college football. It's also showing profit here the past 7 days. 360 units of profit, all documented over at the site. So if you visit Chris's profile page over at Pick Dogs Premium, you can check all the plays out there. They're graded immediately. And tonight on the board, it's Whale Bet. It's Whale Bet Wednesday. An NBA play and an NHL play for you right there on over at Pick Dogs Premium. Or if you would rather, I think it's the best value there is get his 3-day taster. Only $15. It looks like it's only going to be about $20 more to get that. You'll get all his plays for 3 days. Would cover NBA, college football, NFL, game tomorrow night. Big game tomorrow night between Cardinals and the Packers. Of course, we're getting into college football into Friday. Of course, on Friday you can reassess everything and maybe go even longer term with Chris, because he does have a 30-day all sports pass where you get all his plays for 30 days. And of course, that covers college basketball, where you did a really good job last year.
Yeah, finished number 2. I'm going to try to go for number 1, but like I said yesterday, I can finish wherever I want, but as long as I'm making people money in the college basketball floor, that's all I care about.
That's right. All right. Chris Ruffolo here on the drive-thru. Check him out over at Pick Dogs Premium. Let's continue the show. Hey, it's time to welcome in Mitch. You'll find him over at Pick Dogs Premium, part of the morning show as well as the afternoon shows. Mitch, how's it going?
Super. How you guys doing?
All right. We're doing great. We're doing great. All right. Let's get your game information up tonight. We got the game you've got tonight will involve the Bucks and Timberwolves here with the Bucks favorite.
Yep, it does. And, I think what we saw from the Timberwolves, I had them on my card as one of the teams, that I circled to really look at coming into the season. And I do believe in the Timberwolves, and I do believe that they're going to be an improved team and probably a playoff team. But I think there's the but. But we look at, exactly what's happened to start the season. Number one, this is their first road game of the season. So the first 3 games were all at home. A win over the Pelicans without Zion Williamson, a win over the Houston Rockets, and a loss to that same Pelicans team. Meanwhile, we look at the Bucks, and they had that bad game in Miami, but when we saw them at home last against the Brooklyn Nets, it was banner night, it was all those kind of things, and they absolutely blew them out of the building, and I think we're going to see something similar here. I just expect the Bucks to come out here and really bust them up. The good Bucks teams, the last 3 years. Last year we didn't see it as much, but the 2 prior years, we saw the Bucks winning by 20 plus at home on a regular basis. This just shapes up to be one of those spots once again. I think with the public kind of finding sympathy here with the Timberwolves, I think it's an even better spot for the Bucks.
All right, Mitch is here on the Bucks, laying 6.5 against Minnesota. All right, Chris, so we talked about this game when we looked at Milwaukee, Indiana. You're going to have to assess if Milwaukee has the depth to cover here because Minnesota comes in with a clean injury report. And, of course, you've got on the Milwaukee side no Lopez, no Holiday, and DiVincenzo still out.
Yeah, but sometimes you wonder if a guy like Giannis is just going to put the team on his back. And, as much as we talk about the young Timberwolves going to be up and coming, these are still the defending champions. They're used to this kind of situation. Brook Lopez has had his fair share of injuries in his career. So, I was looking at the over in this one just because I think both teams get their fair share of points here, but I look at the Bucks as well for a side.
All right, Bucks laying the 6.5 against Minnesota Timberwolves. Hey, Mitch, what's going on over at Pick.com? You got something up on the board tonight?
I got a few picks. I've got a 3-pack. I've been doing, I try not to put too many picks in. I think I could look at these cards and something like see some of the other guys 5 picks, 7 picks, all that stuff. But it's like I usually just try and stick to 3 if I can. I always say, well, if a game fits the situation, then it fits the situation. But I think I've also been able to avoid some of these things, especially it still is early in the NBA season, so the data just isn't there. I know with the Mitchie Puck show picks that we've been doing on the early show, I'll probably be ready to move a couple of those over to the premium as well. That formula works. It's like I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an NHL expert, but I can handicap games, and we've seen over the years that if you can get on a system that works, well, it works in no matter what the sport. So I'll be adding those probably maybe in another couple of weeks. If not, you get them for free on the morning show, and we've been nailing those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, Mitch, we were looking at some of the stats. I was looking at some of the angles over at Sports Chat Place, over at Pick Dogs. I was looking at some of the trends here, how road favorites are performing well this year in the NFL.
Yeah, they are performing well, and I think in general, what we're seeing in the NFL is, favorites in general, I think have looked pretty good in a lot of spots. But there's a lot of football left to be played. We got a 17-game schedule in the NFL this year, and we know injuries already at week 8 are a mile long, as they usually are. We haven't seen as many really of the big names, that are out for a prolonged period of time. So you have some. But not a ton. I think looking at the NFL, I think, with the trade deadline looming, it's going to be very, very interesting, to see what goes on, especially where Deshaun Watson lands. We've heard some other rumors that, have kind of been squashed, to the Panthers. Rumor has been squashed there. The Dolphins don't have a first-round draft choice next year. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there as well. They traded the Dolphins traded their first-round pick for this year to the Philadelphia Eagles when they moved up to take Jalen Waddle in the draft. So they gave away that draft choice. Sometimes giving away that extra pick, you never know what it's going to be. They certainly expected it to not be the first overall pick in the NFL draft, but boy, it's shaping up that it could easily be that way. So maybe just on spite alone, maybe they go out and get Deshaun Watson so they could win 4 or 5 games and maybe move it out of the top 10, show some, at least there's nothing, I'd imagine there's nothing worse for a fan base that, for a team that needs help than to see that pick that you traded away be, top 3.
Now on those stat tools, I know you talked about having some video series on people how to read those.
Yeah, we haven't started that yet because we're not complete with the first round with the first phase of the stat tools yet. We wanted to just release them and then to go from there. So it's like I want people to understand, like on the parlay, how we come up with those and where those are pulled from, and how it's 10,000 trends that we have for each game. I want to show everybody the back end of that to show them just how many trends we're sorting through, and then each of the trends has a rating system. To put that parlay together. And also we're going to want to offer up those trends to everybody too, that they can sort the trends and get the ones that they want. We can get trends for, Kyle Rudolph. We have 400 trends a game just for him. So it's like, this is the type of data that we have. I think those people that have taken a look at the betting tool site, most of the people have pretty excited about it. I think those people, the more you dig, the more you find there, right? And it's just one of those things where it's not like we don't have a million pages of tools, but we could if we wanted to. We just created an environment where you can kind of like the standings page, right? Everyone has a standing page, but I think it's a very misleading label. It's like, what is there? There's probably 5,000 different ways to look at it, right?
Yeah,
so
and then of course we're not too far away from college basketball, which will be there'll be quite a few there. And of course, right now, if you're subscribed to ESPN Plus, we're starting to see some of the exhibition games now over on the channel.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is to make it. That's our next thing, is to get college basketball up and rolling. So we're trying to get the sports loaded. That's phase 1, is to kind of move with the calendar and get the sports up, and then we just have a ton more tools and a ton more different ways to look at it, as well as some different content and presentation of these content, as far as for props bettors and for fantasy players, an area that we really haven't touched a lot over the years. And it's not something that I enjoy, but I think the prop players and the fantasy, I always said sports bettors and fantasy players, generally 2 different sets of people, but the prop players and fantasy players I think are a little closer related, whether they want to be or not. And I think that a lot of those tools we could use for both. So we have just a lot of stuff. I know some of this stuff, it just seems on the surface like it's the same information that you can get at other places, but I've never seen it presented this way, where you can kind of really change it. Instead of just saying, all right, here's the teams that lead in, if you bet them on the money line every game, here are the teams that make you the most money. I've never seen it where you can break it down by week, month, year, half a year, whatever. I just haven't seen that anywhere. I haven't seen anywhere that lets you adjust them at all, to be honest with you.
I'll ask you kind of a techie question here, Mitch, because when you do the searches, it's a heavy load on the server. How can the server handle a heavy load, high volume? Your sites get very high volume, and it's a really heavy load to store through all those stats on a search.
Yeah, this actually has its own server. It's a subdomain on the website, so it has its own server, and it's done through Amazon Web Services. So they're generally, I consider, the best of the best, not the cheapest, unfortunately, but definitely the best of the best. So it's like we're doing the best that we can, and we know there's going to be some hiccups along the way, but we're working with a partner that's used to dealing with the heaviest of the heaviest loads. The partner that we have, this is their first time that they've ever had a situation where they can make changes based on, carte blanche, right? That work with me, they have a situation where they can cater their products directly to the customer. Normally their customer is DraftKings, like they have a handful of customers that they work with. They have the highest price thing, so it's like it's not for everyone, but their customers are DraftKings, BetRivers, Barstool Sportsbook, the NFL, and us. So I'm excited that they chose us to work with us. Hey, it's sometimes it's nice being in the right place at the right time, and sometimes it's nice just knowing the right people, right? And
it does. It is.
It was a chance, thing, and it was being in the right place at the right time, and it's crazy, right? The way things work out sometimes.
It does. Of course, check them out over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. It's the Betting Tools tab. Click it and check out those great stats there.
Yeah, I think that the prop section of there, I'll go out and I'm going to say, beat it into the ground. I'll just, people think, oh, Mitch is bragging because he says he lives in Hawaii. I'm not bragging because I live in Hawaii. I like living in Hawaii and I'm proud of it, right? But I'm not bragging about it. But I'm going to brag about my betting tools, man. They are freaking amazing. And the prop section, the player prop section, I don't think there's another. I'll say you could take all those other sites, including the ones that charge for the information, and their stuff not even close to what we have. They all get theirs from the same place. All their data, all their stuff, all comes from the same place. We use that's kind of like the Chevrolet of things. We have the Rolls Royce of data, and we're, like I said, we're going to continue to give this for free. We're always going to give it for free, and we're going to let the other guys try and charge for it and see how they like it. All
right, very good. All right, Mitch, we'll be taking a look at those betting tools, not behind a pay window, for free there at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. All right, Mitch, have yourself
always 100% free. We're going to be adding, I know one of the features that a lot of people always ask about is that money movement. We want to add the money movement, but we want to do it in our way, not just say this is the money movement. We want to say, well, this is what historically this has meant. Like if a team is 60, if it's 60-40 bets one way and 60-40 money the other way, and it falls between these certain percentages, what's the amount of time that team wins? That's what I care about, right? We can all look
fragmented.
At this.
The sportsbook data is so fragmented, and you always have question marks about the source of the information. I prefer a stats company for my stats, not a sportsbook.
I'm with you, and I also think that when you look at this stuff, I think you can look at it as long as you're looking at the same set of data. You can take that set of data and you could say, well, here's the reliability based upon what you're looking at and what the expected outcome. And nobody does that. There's the guys, the big guys, the guy who are considered the best app right now for the next 6 months. We'll give them until we put ours out. But they don't do that. They just put it out there. It's just a bunch of sportsbook ads. That's all they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very true.
That's all it is. It's just a bunch of sportsbook ads. The European model. That's what we call that.
It sure is. All right, Mitch, have yourself a great night. We'll tune in tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern time for your morning show.
Aloha, everyone. Have a great week.
All right,
see you tomorrow morning, 11 a.m.
11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue our coverage. Now it's time for my play tonight. We're going to look at this one here with the Celtics and Wizards, 7:30 Eastern time. Celtics here will be laying 4, and I'm going to take the underdog in this one. I'm only looking at the Washington Wizards here at plus the 4 points. And I'll give you my reasons here why I like this particular pick here this game. Washington has really shown improvement defensively, holding teams to 42% from the field, 31% from three. They sit 8th in defensive efficiency, holding teams to 101 points per 100 possessions. Very important here. They're starting 5 healthy. The Celtics have had their shooting issues, just 43% shooting, and the perimeter defense has been lacking. Opponents are making 38% from beyond the arc against Boston. When you look at the Celtics, the bottom third team in defensive efficiency, near the bottom on the offensive side. I'm going to look here, Chris, at the Wizards here at plus the 4.
And Tony, there's that word again, health. The Washington Wizards have a healthy starting lineup, and it's paying dividends for them. The Celtics, meanwhile, looks like it's been tough sledding to translate to Coach Udoka, and it's going to take a little bit. And these guys will get there. They've got Jaylen Brown, they've got Jason Tatum, but I think this is a 2-point game, whichever way you slice it. I really like the Washington Wizards here as well.
All right, agreement here on the Wizards plus 4 against the Celtics, and this one will start here at 7:30 Eastern time. At the game, you can watch it over NBA League Pass channel. I have a 3-pack right now going on Pick Dog Stream. My 2 best plays from the NBA as well as my baseball pick. So check me out there. I'm also part of the 2-for-1 capper promotion, so you can match me up with Chris, Rod Zawacki, with Big Al McMordie, we got Tony Brown, Al Ninos, and Chris Ruffolo. 2-for-1 capper promotion, your best value over at Pick Dogs. All right, now it's time to do the show recap. We'll recap the plays. Just Chris and I tonight. And we got started with James. He says Heat money line plus 140 against the Nets. Big Al McMordie Suns -8 against the Kings. El Ninos Grizzlies plus 2.5 against the Trailblazers. Tony Brown Braves Astros under 9. Sean was on Hawks Pelicans over 219.5. Chris Ruffolo Pacers plus 1 against the Raptors. Mitch was on the Bucks laying the 6.5 against the T-Wolves. Yours truly Wizards plus 4 against Celtics. Chris, other than your pick, which one do you like the best?
Well, I got to go with James Clark. I like the Heat on the money line against the Brooklyn Nets. I think it's a statement game for Miami tonight.
Piggyback with you as well. I like the points, and I like the Heat here with the money line plus 140 against the Nets. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru, guys. Be sure to tune in tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have 8 cappers booked on the show, giving out live free sports picks for the games in prime time. I can guarantee we'll have a pick from that Thursday night football game that's coming up here. A good one between the Packers and the Cardinals. A lot more. So tune in tomorrow here on the Drive-Thru at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Remember, it starts at 11 a.m. Eastern time with the morning show tomorrow morning. Let's bring in the crew from tonight. Well, good night to everyone. Have yourself a great night. We'll talk